On our podcast show today, we are at COMPUTEX Taipei 2026. This is the show, the Super Bowl of technology for computer hardware, AI, and a whole host of other things that connect all those pieces together. With me today is our special guest from Pro Gamers Group, Andreas VDH, because I will not say his name because I have already forgotten how to say it correctly. He may tell you how to say it, but
Von den Hombergh.
okay, I'm gonna try that one time only. Von den Hombergh.
You're doing great, yeah.
Okay,
Better than most.
Thank you very much. Pro Gamers Group is a company that is basically dedicated to the gaming lifestyle. In fact, funny thing, you were telling me off camera that you actually quit another industry to come into the space.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, so I started my career in consulting, then I went to finance. It was a very exciting, great place to start my career. But growing up, I was a diehard gamer. I grew up in Asia, mostly in Vietnam. Spent my life, living at internet cafes, playing LAN games back before, online gaming was a big thing. And when I got the opportunity to do something that I love doing, work in an industry that, I'm following it anyway for my personal reasons, that was just an opportunity I had to jump on, and super glad I did it. And love the company I work for, love what I do every day, love serving our customers, right? I think it's amazing to think about now the products that our group is developing, right?
Yes.
Those are the products that I was getting really excited about
Yeah.
when I was a kid. I still obviously am getting excited about it every day, but I'm like, think about that younger version of me,
Yeah.
right? I'm kind of making sure that all these gamers have the best hardware so that they can, enjoy what they do, have the best performance and competitive settings. So just feel very grateful to have that opportunity.
Now, you are the Chief Strategy Officer for
Yeah.
Pro Gamer Group. So if I understand the job description correctly, you basically set the direction based on your analytics from your finance background, based on the economy and how the direction of the company should go, the financial health of it, and whether or not these are the decisions that should be made by the CEO. Did I get that kind of right?
Yeah, so we've got 3 executives on the team, a CEO, CFO, and myself. We kind of all work together very closely to make all of those decisions. I think one of the reasons that they brought me on board is because, my deep passion for gaming itself, and just trying to make sure that we're always, following the latest industry trends, be that in cases, mice, keyboards. We're, involved in all of it. We're also a very large group at this point in time, right? We're the sun doesn't set on the Pro Gamers Group. We're in the U.S. We're in Taiwan. We're in Australia. We've got lots of offices in Europe.
Yeah.
That's our stronghold. That's where we were founded.
Yeah.
In Germany, in Berlin, that's our headquarters.
Yeah.
So just making sure that all of those entities are cohesively working together in a synergistic way to drive as much value as we can, and ultimately bring the best experience to our customers, be that through our system integration department, or be that through having, the fastest mice so that they can, get those headshots in CS, or, amazing, wonderful, comfortable chairs so they can comfortably sit for 12 hours. Ergonomics are very important to us. So there's just so many different pieces of the puzzle. And I guess it's, one of my responsibilities along with the rest of the team. It's always a team effort to make sure we're fitting those all together to, do the best job that we can, drive value, and ultimately serve our customers.
And build the community, obviously, right?
And build the community.
Now, Pro Gamers Group is actually a B2B company, right? You are a distributor, not a retailer, right?
So that's actually incorrect. We have, you can think about it as we have kind of like 4 business verticals.
Okay.
So first we've got our kind of B2C business vertical, where we have physical and online retail. There we're selling, the whole spectrum of products, from mice to monitors, keyboards, graphic cards, RAM. We also have lots of system integration departments.
Yeah.
So there we sell ready-made computers. We sell BTO computers.
Yeah.
Someone can kind of choose the parts that they want. We even do fully custom computers where it's almost like you're getting a kitchen or a car, you're talking to someone, they're giving you advice. We do completely custom plates, light boxes, the whole shebang.
Okay.
Then, we're also a big distributor. So we both distribute our own brands as well as other brands.
Got it.
We have different distribution entities across the world that do that for us. Then we have our own brands division.
Yeah.
So that's, that's based in Taiwan and in Germany, making chairs, cases, power supplies, cooling, mice. I'm going to forget one of them at this point.
Mouse pads.
Mouse pads, webcams, the full spectrum. And then lastly, we also kind of have a kind of workstation AI server division that does more bespoke work.
So you serve in the markets where you are able to serve the retail, you serve the retail
Yeah.
space, but in markets where you are not able to have distribution or retail presence,
Mhm.
you are a distributor.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay, so it's a little bit of both, right?
Yeah.
But ultimately speaking, you get the best brands out to as many customers as
Yeah.
possible.
Mhm.
You also develop products that may fill a niche in the market that is actually not fulfilled.
Correct.
And you also continue to do the R&D because I believe I've seen you guys a lot in the land and also at different events and
Yeah.
everything. You're listening to feedback. You're getting review units out there to people,
Yeah.
especially in the European German.
Yeah.
Germany is where you.
That's where our headquarters is. Yeah. That's where the company started.
Okay, and that would be Leipzig. You would go to when it was still around, right? It's no longer, right?
The land there,
Leipzig, Leipzig,
Leipzig, the city.
The land party.
Oh, the land party.
Yeah, I think that's gone.
Yeah, I don't know if it's happening anymore. Hopefully, it'll come back. Yeah, we think
Yeah.
fostering the gaming community is super important. For me, that's kind of like a personal thing, right?
Yes.
I grew up gaming in the days before like real
Yeah.
online gaming was a thing, and I think in that way, at those LAN events, you really bring the community together. People get to be with like-minded
Yes.
people who share the same passions, build friendships, build those
Yep.
interpersonal relationships, right? It's great to engage with people on screen, but off screen is obviously also super important. So we just love to foster those communities, and it's a great opportunity for us to hear from our customers, kind of, what could we be doing better for them? What do they need that they don't have today? Yeah, we want to make sure the gaming community is vibrant, alive, and constantly growing.
Now, in North America
Mhm.
for a little while, the LAN party scene has been it's been
Yeah.
going up and down and
Mhm,
everything. But
mhm.
just recently, in Canada, it's been kicked off again because of one other community,
Mhm.
the largest tech YouTuber in Canada,
Mhm.
that wears Birkenstocks and
Mhm.
is a little bit short. He's starting to do LAN parties all over again.
Mhm.
And I had the opportunity to attend the last two and three. And
Mhm.
what I noticed in that mix, and it kind of speaks to what you're talking about, the community,
Mhm.
is that you don't often you might expect that they're just kids
Mhm.
there, but I was sitting in a area where all of them were ex Microsoft, they were
Mhm.
engineers, software developers, and you don't never know who you meet at these events.
Mhm.
But from that pool of people, you might think they're not approachable, but if you need some information, they're so willing to share.
Mhm. Yeah.
In fact, even if you're just missing a bolt on on your system,
Mhm.
and the cooler is just kind of a little
Yeah.
bit wobbly, well, guess what? You've got someone there that's willing to help,
Mhm.
actually show you what's going on, and just give you that down home advice that you need. So, I mean, that type of community building is super important.
Mhm.
What kind of events do you actually support that people know about?
Well, we go to all the big conferences.
Yeah.
We're here every year at COMPUTEX. We were this year at CES, there last year as
Yeah.
well. I got boots on the ground in the US for a few years. We also obviously go to Gamescom.
Mm.
And then I'd be listing out way too many things if we go, like, kind of, that's where we're always going together as
Yeah.
a group, right? Because the conglomerate works together in that way.
Yeah.
But then locally, we've got offices in Sweden, the UK, Hungary, Portugal, Germany, Taiwan,
Okay.
Australia, the US. So locally, we're always looking to support events in one
Okay.
way or another. And also, one of the great things about the Pro Gamers Group is, unsurprisingly, a lot of our employees themselves are gamers. So,
Fantastic.
even if, I'm the chief strategy officer in October, I'm going to a LAN party
Yeah.
in Germany, in Kassel,
Yeah.
playing Age of Empires, my favorite game. And I'm going out there, and of course I'm going to support the event in any way that I can.
Okay.
And sometimes it's just small things, right? Like bringing a few keyboards, bringing
Yeah.
a few nice mouse pads, maybe a chair or two, and making those like the prizes for the little competitions that we've got going on.
Okay, I think
Right.
that was kind of what I was looking for because I was like, okay, do you go to any big events? But it actually sounds more like grassroots, down home kind of. Hey, what's in my backyard, and how can I support that community
Yeah.
situation, right?
I think we kind of do it all, right?
Okay.
It kind of like depends on the level of partnership that we're
Okay.
looking to do, but all the way down from like me going with my Age of Empires team to a LAN party, supporting that, all
Yeah.
the way to like the big things like Mothership or something. We're there as well, and trying to foster and support the community however we can. So yeah, we're always trying to do those things.
Copy that. Now, obviously, you're at Computex, and one of the
Mhm.
big themes of Computex is AI together.
Yeah.
Now, kind of diverse that devices because some people don't actually think that AI wants them. The industry as a whole, there are parts of the industry that are seeing a downturn. Like for example, PC building has been greatly affected by the lack of memory, the lack of GPUs, and other components. As a diversified company, like how have you kind of, and this is definitely up your alley. How have you changed the product mix to actually respond to this?
Yeah, I think the spike in memory prices like obviously affects VRAM, graphic cards. What we've really seen happening there is that those like 5,000, 7,000 euro computers that we were making fully custom.
Yeah.
It's a lot less affected. The target customer base there, has a lot of demand elasticity, or it can just, we'll want to get the best system. But they're not going to be too affected. We see the kind of lower, more entry level system that gets a little bit more challenging.
Yeah.
And for me, that's a little bit more kind of emotional for me because I'm thinking about that younger individual, or maybe dad's giving him a $999 budget to buy his new gaming gear. Dad doesn't understand or maybe really care about the memory crisis that's happening.
Yeah.
And we still want to make sure that everyone in the gaming community can game to the best of what their budget will be able to allow. So we're trying to look for lots of different kind of ways that we can support that, make sure that there's still a system out there for everyone, and maybe that has to come with the cost of maybe a slightly less fancy case, or maybe we're looking at like single DIMM solutions, or kind of looking at we're always looking at what components can we combine in a way to make sure that for a certain price point, our customers can get the best gaming experience.
Yeah. Or based on the games that they play. If they're doing Minecraft, maybe they don't need a high-end GPU.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
things
Or
like
maybe they
that.
don't have a 4K monitor, so they probably don't need a 5090, right?
Exactly, right?
And we think educating our customer on that is really important as well. We've like built out some really interesting widgets on our web shops, for example, where instead of just like having a bunch of computers on a page with different prices on it, we start asking our customers questions. Right? We say like, what game are you playing? What kind of resolution are you playing that game in? What kind of monitor do you have? And based on that, we actually really try to guide the customer to the perfect solution for them, because we think that the education part is really important, right?
Yeah. Now, in the DIY space, obviously, a lot of people want to build their own systems. Maybe pre-builds are less of an issue. They know what they want. They just feel that they can't get what they want today, so they're going to work with what they have. But what kind of trends are you seeing in that space? Like I know that you just mentioned monitors. You know what? I have a 1080p monitor. Now it's time to upgrade. Are you seeing a movement in those other categories as a result of some of the inability to actually upgrade their systems on the hardware side, and maybe there's some alternatives out there?
Yeah, I think the DIY category is I think struggling a little bit more. I wonder though that I think that's been a longer trend than just the memory space. I think that might just be a generational change. Like I was building my first computer when I was 4 years old with my dad, and I also enjoy doing it. Right, I love understanding my hardware. I love, tweaking things, building one thing out, building another thing in, working with my aesthetics. Getting a cool, curved cooler in there, curved screen cooler in there. RGB. First it was RGB, now it's all about screens, right? So the trends are always changing, and I genuinely personally enjoy doing that work myself. I don't see that as like, oh gosh, I have to spend the next 4 hours rebuilding my computer. I'm like, sweet, this Sunday I'm rebuilding my computer, because once it's built and I had my own like hands on it, right? It feels different. My rig's my baby.
Yes.
But I think maybe the younger generation is a little bit less focused on that experience. They probably also maybe need to do it less. It's when I was a kid, I was like saving up for my next component. You know what I mean? I remember when I bought my first like 2.66 gigahertz quad 4-core processor, right? And I needed that to play the latest game. I literally needed that to play the latest game.
Sounds like a Q6600.
But now I think what we're seeing more is customers, they wanna buy a computer off the page. They want to plug it in. They want it to be Wi-Fi enabled, and they want to like buy it today and game tomorrow.
Okay.
And we service everyone, right? So I totally understand that. Like I love building. If someone doesn't, that we're gonna make that work for them as well.
Okay.
But I think that also does change the market a little bit, right? That there's less kind of rotating out components because you want to, or if you want your computer to look a little bit cooler. There's a lot more kind of focus maybe on just like getting the computer that works, that plays the games, in the settings and the resolution that your monitor works for. And it's changing the space a little bit. So companies are adapting to it. Yeah, that's kind of what I've been seeing.
Yeah, a couple other vendors have come by and told us that, you know what, there when you look at the space and you have a system, and you see the price of components,
Hmm.
you're looking at holding on to whatever you have
Hmm.
for
Yeah.
at least a little bit longer,
Hmm.
for at least the next 1 to 2 year horizon,
Yeah.
because we don't know what's happening.
Hmm.
So as far as alternative upgrades, we're looking at cooling solutions, because that GPU, the cooler it runs,
Hmm.
the more boost they get
Hmm.
out of it.
Hmm. Yeah.
Are you seeing any trending towards maybe getting a water block or cooling for those components to actually increase that performance that they have right now, at least for the interim?
Hmm. Um, I think, yeah, for us, we do a lot with cooling
Yeah.
because we think that it's really important to kind of get the most out of a component. I think something people don't speak enough about is actually it's not just about getting more performance out of your hardware. It's
Yeah.
also about longevity and
Yeah.
reliability, right?
Key. Yeah.
Like if something's fully water cooled, it's just gonna last longer, especially if you're running it at load.
Yeah.
We see that a lot more kind of in our kind of like enterprise
Yes.
side of the business, where people are just, running their cards at load 24/7, 365, right? Like that is eventually
Yeah.
going to go down if
Uh,
you do that. So if you water cool it, it's gonna last longer, especially with prices where they're at, right?
Yeah.
You got to think about what's the ROI on that over the whole spectrum.
Absolutely.
I think for gamers, we also see a lot of people, starting to like try to get a little bit more performance out, get the right cooling solutions. We try to make sure that we kind of also advise our customers to make sure you're getting the right TDP cooler for the product that you have there. I think also when you can't necessarily upgrade your RAM because the price point somewhere that your budget currently isn't allowing it to. We see a lot of customers kind of making their computer look new, even if
Yeah.
a lot of the components are the same, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes by swapping out your case, swapping
Yes.
in some new fans, getting a new cool AIO, you can get something that looks very different without necessarily maybe needing to go out there and rebuy all of the expensive
Yeah.
components. And there has definitely been an extension a little bit of the upgrade cycle, right?
Okay.
Like I think um, yeah, I think you can probably like go further with components a little bit longer these days. And I understand why people want to do that, especially where the prices are at.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've been seeing a lot of that.
Because you mentioned how the joy of building a new, like actually simply just swapping out your case
Yeah.
for that fresh feel,
Mm,
doing a little bit of dusting, new
yeah.
cable management, a new cooler,
Mm,
maybe some new cable extensions to
yeah.
kind of kit out their kit.
Mm,
That still feels good.
yeah.
It's like putting a sticker on your car. It
Hmm.
has boosts 5 horsepower immediately, right?
Hmm.
But still, it's absolutely valid. And whatever your feelings are valid, and if you feel that your system is faster, it's faster.
Hmm. Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
So, and on top of that, just I was thinking, like maybe it's time for a new keyboard,
Mhm.
things like that. I mean, there's a huge range of keyboards that you also offer as well too.
Mhm. Yeah.
Maybe it's time for that new gaming chair.
Yeah, exactly.
So much new technology these
Yeah,
days, right?
it's always important to kind of see all the new trends that we're coming out with. I think in the keyboard market, there's been amazing innovation that we've seen, right? Going from like hot swappable mechanical keyboards to like Hall effect switches, now
Yeah.
very popular. We're actually we got an inductive keyboard,
Yep.
which we think is really great. Gives us a little bit more precision on that like actuation.
Yes.
I think in the chair market, that's just critical. Like, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you're sitting in a comfortable chair.
Ergonomics.
My dad's a doctor, and he always told me that my spine is the second most important organ in my body because it runs your nervous system.
Yeah,
And
and
if you're sitting,
sunscreen.
yeah, and sunscreen. If you're sitting in that chair, 8, 12 hours a day, make sure it's really nice and comfortable, and make sure that it's taking care of your back because you've only got one, and hopefully it'll last you. Who knows these days? 250 years. We'll see,
I
right?
know, right?
But yeah, I think getting upgrading those things kind of around your whole gaming setup,
Yeah.
right? Like your gaming setup, that's your environment, right?
Yes.
That's where you're spending your time. That's where you're enjoying your main hobby. You got to look at it all holistically, right?
Yeah,
Gotta make-
I think that like we're too narrow-minded in the hardware
Yeah.
side sometimes, is that there's all these things that bring you joy. The
Mhm.
chair, absolutely important. Monitor, maybe it's just time to go to 120 hertz or 144 hertz,
Mhm.
right? That just improves your eyesight, right?
Yeah.
Because you're not what's going on here, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So there's so many opportunities in the PC space, and I'm glad that Pro Gamers Group actually is serving communities where
Mhm.
there's actually no maybe the lack of retailers. That's where you decide to set up shop. There's a viable market there that you're actually distributing in a place where they could use those additional components and also upgrades that make their life so much better. There's so much more to this than just like a GPU,
Right.
a RAM, right? There's so much more to this space. That's why we love PC DIY, right?
And performance is, a big part for any gamer who's playing a competitive game, right? Like you want to be able to be your best.
Yeah.
And being your best, also means having the right, hardware components, so you can be running at the highest FPS, so that, you can be making those razor thin lightning decisions.
Yeah.
You got to make sure that everything else around there also makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Now, I can't ask this question of anyone because I don't see an example of this, but Pro Gamers Group, your team, very fit. Right? Most of
Thank
you
you.
guys look like you work out, you run together in the morning, or you're hitting the Gold's Gym. How do you actually fit all of that into your lifestyle? Because I know that for some people, in order to get to the point where I have that moment where I look down, it's like, this is not good for me. It takes some people a little while. But as a company, is everyone into that ethos, or is it just kind of more like encouragement to kind of get everyone just a little bit more healthy?
yeah, I think, I think those are personal decisions that everyone needs to make. But, as an employer and as a company, we obviously care deeply about our employees. We care about their health, right? We want to make sure that everyone has the right work-life balance, so that they can, if they want to, make the decision, to get that, morning workout in. I think also, in the post-COVID era where, a lot of people are working kind of flexibly, right? It's fine to, go get that 2-hour workout in the middle of the day if you're, getting everything done and you're putting in the hours, and maybe that comes in a little bit later at night. You need to make sure that everyone has that kind of flexibility so that they can take care of themselves.
Yeah.
And we make sure that our employees have the time in their lives so that they can do that, because at the end of the day, right, it's not just about, looking good. It's also about being healthy, about, taking care of yourself. Like, you want to, we're hopefully going to be around for a while, right? And, lifestyle and health decisions kind of do impact your qualities. And glad to hear that the team's looking healthy, right?
They're looking healthy.
Running around working really hard here at COMPUTEX, so that's probably helping out. They're all getting in their 40,000 steps a day.
That's right.
I think that's something that we just want to make sure our employees as an employer, for us, it's obviously very important that they get the work-life balance, that they can, get the time in. And glad to see that it seems like they're using at least some of that time to, get in their fitness, and great to hear that they're all looking great, healthy.
Yeah, it's sometimes I kind of approach that question. It's like, how does the industry get healthier? Because we've lost friends. We've seen them, kind of go down the path where they can't come back, or it's too hard. And it's worth mentioning on occasion and as frequently as possible, and as they're willing to kind of pick them up when they need help, and kind of bring them along. If a friend wants to go for a walk, go for a walk with them, right? That's the start, and then game after, right?
I like to do a lot of walking meetings with my employees. Like,
Just walk and talk?
Yeah, literally, if I don't need to have a screen and a slide deck in front of me, like, let's just walk around the block for 15 minutes, like move our legs, right? My brain works better while I'm moving.
That's a great idea.
And you can multitask.
That's a great idea, actually.
Yeah.
More companies need to actually do that, right? Now, have you guys looked at and I'm looking at some of your Asian counterparts. They've actually incentivized BMI and all these other things. Not looking at that.
No, not looking at that. Like I said, those are, I think, personal lifestyle decisions that everyone needs to make for themselves. I think for us, just make sure that they, have the time, the flexibility in the way that work-life balance is managed, that they can. But I think that's a personal life decision for everyone.
But
we encourage, right? But
you guys set the example. You show everyone how it's done, and if you want to aspire to be like Pro Gamers Group, a little bit more fit, a little bit more swole, definitely there's the example, and I think you guys are willing to share.
Yeah,
and it doesn't matter because in such a collaborative space, if you guys want to run with a competitor, go for a run.
Yeah,
it's not a big
absolutely,
deal, right? Fantastic. And before we close off here, I want, first of all, thank you so much for sharing your time with us. I know it's very valuable as the Chief Strategy Officer. You keep the company on track and also with all the trends. And also want to recognize some of our sponsors here, MTS Solutions. Thank you so much for providing this opportunity to speak to Andreas. It's very rare that we have this opportunity to talk with so many industry professionals. And of course, our venue sponsor, Nesta Bistro. They're actually, funny enough, they're not a restaurant. There's so much more. They're actually an extension of the trade show. So the weird thing is that in
And the food's
restaurant,
great.
the food's great, and the weird part is that every year, when you look at their dining room, they make their profit on the trade show side. They don't make it like a restaurant. So if it's empty, that's still okay for them because they're taking care of all conventions. And finally, our friends from ID Creative, thank you so much for being a part of organizing and corralling everyone to make sure that this happened the way it happened. And again, thank you so much, Programmers Group and Andreas. He's the Chief Strategy Officer for the company. Make sure you check out a lot of their brands. You'll find them on their website at progamersgroup.com. Did I get that right?
Yep.
Awesome. And until next time, we'll see you again. And make sure that you check them out on the interwebs and all of their social media. And we're waiting Winston Chim, our co-host, to return. So make sure that you check in for another episode to close off the show, COMPUTEX 2026.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you so much. Bye now.